This egg run ended my careers a dozen times, and it's all because I chose my team based on vibes. Hello, my name is Fonta, and today I'm going to tell you how I became the best psychic gym leader in the Pokemon universe by condensing these 10 hours of gameplay into a semi not too long YouTube video. Before starting, I want to clarify that I have only played through generations 1 to 5 of Pokemon games because I didn't have access to the consoles past those gens. So even though I'm a huge fan, I'm actually a bit ignorant to the newer Pokemon games, which will come back to punish me later in the video as you will see. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. We start our adventure by selecting our profile and naming ourselves. Then we're put into a dark room where the most important decision awaits us, choosing our gym type. Now here I thought hard between Ghost, Steel and Psychic, since those are my three favorite types, but eventually I went with Psychic because most of my favorite Pokemons are Psychic type. Anyways, then we have to choose our starter. Between Solosis, Sigilyph and Bronzor, I chose Sigilyph because it's one of my top 10 favorite Pokemons. And then we step out of the boat and talk with Umbal City's mayor. He welcomes us and tells us that the last gym leader unknowingly left the town, which led to its ruin, bandits taking over, etc. etc. And now, he didn't say anything about what he did to take care of the town while the gym leader was absent. But it's okay, we're kind of used to lackluster mayors at this point. Anyways, we then receive Pokeballs from a surprisingly nice lady, and then I get jump scared by a different one seeking a battle not even a minute into this new place. It's nothing of note, and we win quite easily. And this is when we discover the reputation mechanic. Every time we win a battle or help someone, we gain reputation points, which in turn decides our leader rank and how populated and kind the city becomes. And since we're going to be a psychic gym leader, we only want psychic type Pokemons. I try my luck in the grass to no avail, and this is where I discovered the insane encounter rate in this game. You can't take two steps without encountering something. And then, seeing a path to the left, I decided to investigate until I found a cave. I caught Golett there, and I know it's not a psychic type Pokemon, but I think it's one of the coolest looking designs. So I got it just in case I could use it somehow, even though I ended up not using it at the end. But it's okay. The cave also has a few quiz type questions, which I definitely didn't struggle with. And here we see a strangely colored Aron, and this thing, despite it being one of my favorites, will later become the bane of my existence. I didn't know that there were unbold versions to some Pokemons. It freaked me out a little, and I decided to get out and go to the city as planned. However, that's when I encountered my second favorite Pokemon, Build-Up. And I of course decided to catch it and add it to our team. And now we officially have a second Psychic type Pokemon. We luckily catch it with our single Pokeball and then head to the city where I deposited Golett. I tried to talk with everyone in the city and discovered that we can't actually barge in someone's home uninvited. And feeling weirdly scolded by the text box message, I carry on. We talk with the mayor who glides around in his skates, apparently, and shows us our home. We investigate inside and find our signature move, Psychic. And it's quite fitting, if I say so myself. Checking the local TV though doesn't give off the same contentment we felt earlier with the house. Everyone is strangely hostile for a town that's desperate for a new gym leader. And then after all of that, we follow the story and go meet up with the mayor. I decided to do some exploring before doing anything related to the gym, and while exploring the west of the town, I get jump scared again, but this time by this onyx. Not to be confused with another one later that almost caused our first whiteout of the game. And while trying to flee the zone, we also come across a Smeltex. Well, no thank you. I actually only realized this much later, but the trainers scattered around that you can battle with are the same ones who come to your gym later on, so we can get a general idea about the teams that will face us in the gym later. I go back to the Cavern of Knowledge, determined to get to the bottom of it, also hoping to catch another teammate, since we can only start our gym responsibilities with 3 Pokémon, nothing less and nothing more. We find a Pokéflute while we're at it that would become relevant later on. And after answering all of the questions, a path is opened for us where we talk to this kind woman who asks us to answer her questions honestly, and that she will give us a gift according to our answers. Now, I didn't realize it at the time, but these answers would give us a starter. I chose my favorite number 7 and the grassy meadows. These answers gave us a Rowlet with a move it normally shouldn't know, Flare Blitz. We eventually get out of the cave, and then I found out that Rowlet can't learn Psychic, so I deposit it in the PC and go on our first mission, actually catching our 3rd member for our team. And going south, we actually find it on our first encounter, a Mono. This finally allowed us our first official day at the gym. The battles are back to back, but we get healed after every battle, so it actually isn't too bad. We end the day by going to the break room and training with our gym trainers. We finally finish the day and then go to bed. The next day, we find a heart scale in our mail and a few people asking to join our gym. We say yes to all of them. We give the heart scale to one of the townspeople and we gain some reputation as a reward. Our second day at the gym goes as well as the first, except for this errand. And here, we start to see some of the potential obstacles that will make themselves clear on later instances. Our team is mostly monotype, so we don't have a lot of coverage. And also, why does this Aeron even know Dragon Rage? Unbeknownst to me at the time, this humble version is Dragon Rock type. And we always finish our days at the gym by going to the break room and talking with other trainers. Our next day begins harboring some dramatics. We fight off against Elizabeth, the city's best trainer as the mayor put her to be. Fearing this would actually be a challenge, I decided to grab my bench non-psychic mons to use. And when I went south to train them though, I was surprised to find our eventual 4th member of the team, Drowsy. Elizabeth ends up being a surprisingly easy battle though, so yeah, there's that. We didn't even need to use our non-psychic Pokémons. Moving on, we rank up to rank 1 the next day, so that's exciting. I decide to go in this cave, which ends up being the wrong decision, because why would a trainer be here with a level 30 Lucario in early game? Obviously, we lost, pathetically, only succeeding in chipping away at a third of his health. I decided to abandon exploring after that and went to the gym. All goes well until we're jump scared by this level 18 Curlia. We still win, and the rest of the day, as well as the next, goes smoothly. To the east of the town, we can actually get some routes from the Sailor Man. We fight some trainers and then buy our first building plan from this man over here and see its construction come to fruition. Yippee! We then almost lose a fight to this old gentleman, but thanks to Sigilif we actually win. All the problem was because of Dragonair, and this is something that will occur a lot during the playthrough. We don't exactly have a counter to dragon types, and they posed quite the challenge to us. And then we go to the cave where we discover a ton of dragon type Pokémons. We also discover that there's Mime Jr. in the mystical fields up ahead, And since we don't actually have any Pokeballs left, we ran away with the promise to come back later. I've never used Mr. Mime before, so I'm actually excited to see how this will go. We go back to acquire some Pokeballs and catch our new teammate before going back to the town to start our gym day. And all goes well until we're met with this thing again. Our second whiteout of the game and first badge given. And the next day, we go back to the Dragon Cave and we catch a Dratini, who sadly can't learn Psychic. I don't even know why I tried to make it learn Psychic. However, it would thankfully aid us in the mid-game and end-game. We go back to our gym as always and survive another day. Our Beldum actually finally evolves into a Metang and will soon be usable in battle. The next day we evolve from rank 1 to rank 2 and get our second encounter with the villains. However, I think this is the more important one, and these villains are called Rough Riders, which sounds a bit silly as a name, but who am I to judge? We win and drive them off the city for now, before going north and finding the policemen went away, opening up the commercial district and the mall, which ends up being so lackluster. I was disappointed. They have useful stuff for sure, but I was expecting more than 2 stalls from the mall. Like even the little mart has 2 workers, so technically 2 stalls. I then discovered this girl who offers to train our team using only Blissies. I mindlessly clicked yes the first time we spoke and ended up being surprised by the amount of XP we got. This trainer will aid us immensely in the future. And then I decided to fish in this pond I haven't decided before in the Maisher Marsh and end up getting our 6th and last teammate, a Staryu, which we immediately evolve into Starmie. And since we were told to be in the 30s for the new rank, I overthink it and end up talking to the Blissey lady again, who trained the last 3 of the team. Our Drowsy evolves to Hypno meanwhile, and Mime Jr. to Mr. Mime. We actually end up being quite over-leveled for some time, but that doesn't last for too long, thankfully. The next few gym days naturally were a breeze, since we are a bit over-leveled. All, however, stops when we're kidnapped by the Rough Riders the next day. And, well, while talking to this guard here, I discovered you can ask her for how many soda pops or berries as you want. And I don't know if it's actually infinite or not, but it's funny to think that it is. We safely got out of the hideout and ranked up, so now we can have 6 Pokémons in our team. We also do a rogue quest that gains us some repetition rewards, as well as leveling up Muna to Musharna. We also end up using a heart scale to teach Minimize to Starmie. We spend the next few days at the gym doing our duties, and mostly using the under-leveled Pokémons. We also end up buying a lot of potions to donate to these guys, and proceed to gain more reputation points thanks to this. And going east of the town again, we get jump-scared by this Zoroark who was imitating a sailor. But luckily we survive the fight, and when we pass through the cave, we get to this lady who sells TRs, who I think are the TM versions of this game. I end up buying 2 for Metang and Starmie respectively. And now, I decided to finally get my revenge. Remember the Lucario that caused our first whiteout of the game? Well, I decided to go and demolish it now with my 6 Psychic type Mons. Sigilyph KOs all of them one by one, so happy ending, I guess. I fought some more trainers in the cave before entering this ice part of it. I got a wild Jinx encounter and decided to catch it just in case. I found myself not using Mr. Mime as much and promptly decided to bench it for Jinx instead. Sadly, we don't catch our first encounter and only later stumble upon Smoochum and decide to catch it as not to waste any more time with countless Glalie and snow runs. This little brat though almost used all of my Pokeballs even when it was sleeping. We luckily got it with our last normal Pokeball. I have no idea why its catch rate was quite low, honestly. but it doesn't matter anymore. I put Smoochum first in the party to try and switch train it a bit. We also discovered we're no longer disgustingly overleveled for the gym battles, so that's also a win. However, we almost lost to the first evolutions trainer. We don't exactly have a counter for different types, so brute forcing our way is starting to be more and more difficult. The rest of the day, however, passes without a hitch until we get a threatening letter from the Rough Riders leader, Edgar, telling us to confront him in their hideout. Our Smoochum evolves to Jinx, finally, and we decide to go and see Edgar. Now, I think it's also important to mention that I have a terrible sense of direction, both IRL and in video games, which will be shown here when I was lost for an undetermined period of time while looking for the hideout. And amidst all of that, I discovered the even better lands, which apparently house powerful Pokémons. I decided to check that out later and instead focus on the story for now, and I definitely didn't end up forgetting about it for almost the rest of the video. I finally found the cave, which was in plain sight by the way, and almost lost to this double battle. And this definitely was not a foreshadowing that we're not ready to face off Edgar. Definitely not. And now, I think I spent almost either 40 minutes or more doing this battle over and over again and losing each and every time. And the thing is, when you lose an important battle like this in this game, you don't wait out and try again. No, you actually get a game over screen and have to start from your last save. I was luckily prepared and saved beforehand. And now this irksome thing of an Aggron aggravated me so much, you have no idea. It would single-handedly wipe out my team, and not only is this thing a nuisance, but the trainers love to use healing items mid-battle, like they abuse them so much, so it would only lead to us losing time and time again, because I tried my best not to use any items in battle, although I did resort to that in desperate times. Not that it led to anything, so let's say it doesn't count. I'll keep the count of how many losses this battle caused us, but it took so long it actually physically irritated me. I changed the team order and used 2 rare candies on Hypno in a feeble attempt to win, which of course didn't happen. And the next time, I understood that I need to either change my team or level up some more. So I quit the hideout and chose to level up our bench Dratini. Technically, it isn't against the rules of the game to use a diverse team. You only have to use a uniform team at the gym. So I leveled up Dratini thanks to the Blissey's into Dragonair and then some more into a Dragonite. This was my new ace to defeat all of Edgar's dragon types. I could either catch an ice type or level up our dragon type. I chose to go with the latter because I surprisingly never used a Dragonite before and simply put wanted to use it. We defeat some trainers and goons along the way back and start our next ride. Suffice to say, I was surprised to see our Dragonite almost get one shot. This also is when I discovered Edgar's team is either dragon types or pseudo-legendaries. And this was surprisingly one of our closest tries, which led to me to want and actually win this battle in the same sitting. I end up fighting the rest of the goons to evolve our Metang into a Metagross. This filled me with a lot of hope to win. I think we can do this if we try again and again until we either get lucky or force brute our win. However, for some reason I was also so fed up with everything, so I bought a building plan. I have no idea how this would have contributed to anything, but I guess I needed to do something else before going back to the battle. And we also ended up training with Bliss again. Then I got an epiphany. Jinx, despite it being part ice, actually wasn't helping that much with the dragon types, so I decided to temporarily bench it again in favor of our Rowlet that we got all the way in the beginning. We trained it well with Bliss, evolving it to Dartrix and finally to its final form. This actually allowed us to win in our next try. The war is finally over. We resume as usual by changing our team back to our gym team and starting our workday. And later, instead of training with the trainers as we usually do, we're instead told by Sandy that she needs us for a secret mission. This ends up being a whole problem with her delinquent brother. We easily beat him in a battle and we gain more reputation points. Sigalith was still poisoned, so I wanted to go and heal my team at the Poké Center. Little did I know we would be forced into another fight right after that one, and this time we're fighting off against champion Garrison, and we get absolutely obliterated by his Gengar. We do end up leveling up to rank 5 though, so that's a win. We start our next day and get faced by this absolute beast of a Tyranitar, a level 70 Tyranitar, while our team is still in the 40s and 50s. Yeah, we're not making it out of this alive, are we? Unless... We do end up winning thanks to our tank unit, Metagross. And the rest of the fights are unremarkable, and we finish our day peacefully. Well, as peaceful as it is before being summoned to the gym in secret. We end up fighting this mysterious guy who we later find out was the previous gym leader who abandoned the city. And apparently, according to him, he received a threatening letter and was told to cease his activities immediately or there would be consequences. Attempting to start the next day at the gym lands us in yet another cutscene, where Sandy reads us our own threatening letter. Yippee! The letter explicitly states not to inform anyone about our predicament, but we end up doing that anyways by alerting the police and our gym trainers. It's clear that this mysterious and dangerous person is either deeply invested in the city's affairs or has some goons left and right who tell them all that they need to know. Our decision is confirmed to be not so wise after we get informed that our trainers have been kidnapped, and it's suspected they are in the Rough Riders' hideout. Both the police and the mayor are absolutely useless, and we have to take the matters in our own hands and save our gym members. After training up to the mid and high 50s, thanks to the Blissies, we embark on our journey. We meet up with Edgar at the entrance of the hideout, finding him in a frustrated and almost hysterical state, and he informs us that the threatener has always been none other than the mayor. I was madly surprised by this, and frankly, no, he didn't raise a single red flag. I'm kind of used to useless mayors. The mayor is basically the root of all evil in this universe for some reason we'll get to in a minute, and we decide to go and confront him. The old man goes on one of the longest monologues I've seen in this game, and apparently he has some magical abilities, because he wiped out Edgar's whole team without as much as a lost breath. His Scizor wipes out our team for no other reason than everyone loves to heal their Pokémon all the time, so by the time we do any significant damage, they would just fully heal and we'd be stuck in our sorry state until we get wiped out one by one. In the next try, Dragonite wipes most of our team out, and Sigalith can only do so much on its own before eventually going down as well. I was still out of patience from Edgar's battle earlier, so I decided to get our 2 honorary team members back for this fight as well. Now, one could ask, why didn't I catch Pokémons who can learn Psychic to fix all the weaknesses that our team has? Well, I simply get easily attached to my teammates, except for Mr. Mime. So, with our newly reacquired team, we make another attempt. Now, Bear in mind that every time we lose, this mayor goes on the same tangent again, and we're forced to sit through it all once more. We get extremely bad luck with this attempt though, as our attacks miss and our two ace cards get wiped out before anyone else. And here you can see how many times Hypnosis missed in a row. Absolutely diabolical. Our next attempt goes much smoother, and Sigilif lands the final hit, once again asserting its dominance and winning us the fight. Edgar goes on his own monologue after this, but hey, somehow we ranked up again. I have no idea how we were able to rank up like this back to back, but I suspect it has to do with the main storyline ending. We get a thank you call from Sandy, and there it is. We finished the plot for this ROM hack. Now, I'm aware that there are many things still hidden in this game, like the even better lands, the vacation option, and probably countless team we can make and improve. And most importantly, our city has a noticeable lack of buildings. Skill issue? Oh well, this concludes our playthrough. If you enjoyed watching me bumble my way to becoming the best psychic gym leader through sheer stubbornness and blissy training, consider subscribing for more adventures where I definitely don't power through instead of having a strategy. And if anyone is curious for some reason about the full footage of this playthrough, I streamed it all and you can find the VODs in the designated playlist for the game. Bye!